everybody, and welcome back to 6 Plus Plus. We're back once again with another Ben's Wager, drukhari, and Harlequins event report. I am back today, fresh from the 6 Plus Plus GT, and what an event it was. Now, you may be wondering, what, Ben? Why are you wearing a tiara? We'll get to that at the end of the video, but for now, you're going to have to stick with me sitting in a princess tiara. So this weekend was the 6 Plus GT up in Barnsley at Prestige Wargaming. So first of all, I decided to give a great shout out to the team at Prestige. I think it's a relatively new store, but it is a fantastic venue. It's so much bigger than it looks on the outside. It's well stocked, the staff are friendly, and it has a license to serve beer. Yeah. Um, but what a great venue and what a great bunch of staff that was. So it was 6 Plus Plus's first GT this weekend, and they the boys have done a miraculous job. It was amazing. The event was fantastic. All the free goodies. I've walked away with a Galadriel. I've got some CP tokens, um, some paints. I got some sweet. I got some measuring little widgets. I got deployment sticks just for turning up. What a success! So big shout out to Chris, Tom, Rob, Davey, Scrivo, all the boys. TO'd the event, ran the event, and helped make it such an amazing event. The vibes were immaculate. As you can tell, I probably sound a bit hoarse right now. That's what you tend to get after about 15 hours of playing Warhammer, constantly talking in a loud environment. So let's get into the report side of things. Try and work out why this idiot is wearing a tiara. Right, let me just get this on the screen. Okay, so let's go through the list. So the list is unchanged from my last event report. So we are running with 2 Court of the Archons, 6 Grotesque, a unit of racks, 2 Void Weavers, a Void Raven Bomber, 2 Haywire Scourge, a Beastmaster, and 2 Mandrakes. 2 enhancements, so one on the Warlord Archon, which is the Arch Raider, and the other one is Webway Walker. And what we do is we have a 15 strong court that will deep strike, and we have the other court that will split with the Venom and the Raider. The 10 with all the good guns goes in the Raider, and then the 5 little idiot Cabalites go in the Venom, so I can stick it a couple of objectives turn 1 and get some early pressure if I need it. So that's the list, unchanged from last time. Obviously, we had the data slate. I dropped 20 points on my list. Do you think, okay, that's something? What I put in there, I did not use. So I put Conductor of Torment on the Beastmaster, and it just never came up. So I may have to look and see if there is a way that I can shift things around in there to maybe just get a bit more something out of the list. Maybe look at swapping a unit of racks with those points out to a unit of witches to sit and hold the backfield. Um, and then you've got something for late game after it's been stickied. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the solution is yet. But let's get into the games. So start the game off nice and early. I get Jack Chapman. Jack Chapman, Tau Specialist of 6 Plus Plus fame. So mission 1 is Linchpin on Tipping Point with Fog of War, which means you always get cover turn 1, battle round 1, and you cannot use core stratagems such as Overwatch, CP reroll, etc. But you can flip cards with the New Orders stratagem. So Jack was running the new Tau detachment. It wasn't running Recruit Hunting Pack as the picture says up there. But he was running the new detachment, experimental gun protocol cadre thing. But it's very, very good list, very well designed list. So it's 2 units of suits, 1 fusion, 1 plasma, 1 Cold Star commander with the fusion enhancement. We had 2 Riptides, we had Commander Farsight, we had a cadre Fireblade, some breachers with Devilfish, a Sky Ray gunship, the shoot hammerheady thing that's not a hammerhead. I guess. Um, there was some pathfinders. We had lots of stealth suits. We had some piranhas, and we had some crew in there as well. So lots of good stuff, lots of stuff that are going to benefit from this detachment. So this detachment, obviously getting an extra 6 inches of range, just generally damage buffing things in terms of stratagems, and some of the enhancements as well. So Jack went first on this, and he made a really nice play really early on to try and hem me in, to deny all my scouts. He used his infiltrates. Um, I kind of wasn't too worried about it. Um, it's Tau, at the end of the day. I could push that pressure back, the stuff he was going to try and pressure me out early with. Um, you know, I probably should have cleared this light sight line for my beast pack to get out and deny some more primary. But you learn, you learn. It wasn't too much pressure. I was a bit worried when I lost a Void Weaver turn one though to Piranhas that, little did I know, move really, really far. So that was fun. Um, but yeah, it all went fine. We managed to slowly grind out the win and just win the war of attrition. Um, the 18-inch lone op strap was really good, really useful. It did help keep some suits alive a little bit longer. But my haywires really popped off into the riptides. Whenever I could see a riptide, I don't think I averaged less than about 21 devastating wound damage with sustained hits. It was pretty bad. It was pretty naughty. So in the end, we did sort of pick on the momentum, and we managed to get that win out there. So it was a 12-8 win, or 8-1-66. So this event was using WTC scoring as a scoring metric for the event, which was interesting because you are looking then to have a bit of a differential. You can't just win a game by a point. You have to win by 6 points to actually count as a win. Otherwise, it is a draw. So um, it's interesting the way it makes it play. Now, going into this mission turn one, it was a bit tough. I'd not really practiced on WTC terrain. That was my bad, right? I had time. I've got TTS. I should have gone, sat down, and done some deployments. So my experience on that terrain showed really early on. But we got more used to it as the weekend came on. And actually, WTC terrain's pretty nice with the mats and the buildings. Like it makes a big difference. It's pretty interesting. Um, so that was round one. On to round two. I had Mike. Now Mike was playing Ynnari, the big boogeyman. We were playing Ynnari on Take and Hold, Hidden Supplies, Search and Destroy. Now, to my understanding, Ynnari has a great primary game. I hadn't played them yet, but I've got an idea of what they do. It's lots of you kill me, I will do shenanigans, sorts of tricks and plays, um, which is fun, I guess. um, so very early on, this was a 6 objective mission, not a 5 objective mission, as the map shows. And that middle one split towards the non-deployment zone corners, as the hidden supplies rule suggests. So Mike had um, Yvrain, the Vizark, and 10 Incubi together. He had two big units of Wind Riders, one with Warlock, one with Farseer. Um, he had What else did he have? He had some Shroud Runners. He had had 9 Reaver Jet bikes. He had a Wraith Knight, which was that was interesting. He had some Shining Spears, and he had a couple of units of Cavalites in Venoms. So they split down and get little idiots in Venoms. He had some Void Reavers as well, the Corsairs. And that was about it. That was the list. He's got this nice, lovely fight first Incubi brick. That hopefully he can move at the end of the shooting phase after I've shot and killed something. He's got reactive stickying when I kill a unit on an objective. He's got lots of neat little tricks to keep a hold on that primary. Um, now, this game, I feel confident into other Eldar matchups. Now, particularly with these bikes, we've got a lot of good profiles into bikes. Particularly with the plane, toughness 4 bikes, great. They're 5 up impulse. I've got enough shots to get through all of those bikes quite quickly. So after a couple of turns, I'd whittled down all the bikes. My plan was basically to ignore the Wraith Knight. Wraith Knight could do what it wants to do. I'm not interested in interacting with it. But there was a really nice play with my 15 strong deep strike core. Um, he reactive moved as I fell back with a unit of Cabalites from the Incubi in the middle. A reactive moved, which unfortunately spent a lot of time screening this 15 strong. He then reactive moved and cleared quite a large space for me to drop my 15 strong core in. I then brought my plane in. Was able to clear off my natural expansion objective up on the top left there. Um, Plane then shot the Incubi, killed most of them. Left it down to like Yvraine and the Vizard. 15 strong caught, then shot Yvraine and the Vizard, killed them off. Um, I cleared off my natural expansion objective and managed to shoot the Venom that was sort of the other side of that middle L, top middle L near his home objective. Got the Cabalites out, and they landed then closer than the 9 inches I was able to deep strike. They actually were within 7 inches, so a 6 inch charge on the dice for my court to go and steal his home objective, which is exactly what I did. I managed to bang that charge off, clear that, take his home objective, and actually deny him primary. Quite importantly, deny him primary for turn 3. He managed to stick an objective at one point, but again, I could just knock it off, get it done, no problem. Um, so it was a pretty good back and forth game. Fortunately, Mike could not keep up with the attrition that I was able to bring to the table. I think we were both left with about 2 or 3 units. One of his being a Wraith Knight, though, whereas mine were sort of lots of little units that were able to zip around the board, and my Mandrakes were still alive, which is huge for my scoring because I could be where I wanted. The Wraith Knight had to sort of stand on an objective to score those points. It was a good 14-6 win. I was feeling pretty happy taking down Ynnari. We've all heard quite how bad they are, and I think some of us were a little bit disappointed how they didn't get touched. And their incubi are cheaper than the drukhari's incubi. Why? Why GW? Why are they cheaper? They should be the same price. Whether ours go down or theirs go up, I don't mind. Same price, say, right? Um, Particularly with the stratagems they have. They're quite strong, particularly with Yvraine and the Vizarg. So a good 14-6 win, so 88-64 overall. That puts us into round 3, undefeated. Round 3, we are playing on Crucible of Battle, Scorched Earth, Inspired Leadership, and I get the new Meta Menace. Again, not Tactical Brigade as my picture shows there. I'd not updated my app yet, so unfortunately I couldn't get the detachments correct in there, but I was playing into Mordaka. Now, this was horrendous. Mordaka is an issue. Okay. Uh, Turns out if you give lots of good shooting profiles sustained hits too, even if they are only hitting on sixes, that kind of hurts. It's pretty strong. Not only that, they've got really good stratagems in there. Granted, their sustained hits 2 is only in their shooting phase, so it can't be used on the Overwatch or on their shoot back on death stratagem. But they are they're pretty spicy. Now, I was playing Alex Chancellor of 6++ as well. So I'm already facing 2 6++ chaps this weekend. Um, Very good player, very strong player. I would like to tell you what was in his list. So we had the 22 Gretchen and Zodgrod, or whatever his name is, the silly Scout 9, Move 12, Advanced Charge, put in the War for CP, goodness unit of Gretchen that sort of +1 to hit, +1 to wound, -1 to be hit, have an invul. They're pretty crazy. They are super tough to shift and ridiculously fast. I did go first on this match. Um, he did sort of he had Gazgul and a load of looters and tank busters and breaker boys. So he went first here. So I'll sort of go through this play by play from what I remember. But I went first. So unfortunately, my secondary sort of dictated how I played. So I scattered my raider out to the middle. Drew my secondaries got area denial sabotage, area denial established locus, which meant I sort of had to leave that raider in the middle with the court in. I tucked it up nice and close to the wall so I could jump out behind, no problem. I had a few little units sort of tucked over on my upper left hand side. I had a Scourge, Void Weaver, some Mandrakes. stuff that I could sort of swing around with speed and shoot some stuff with, but stay relatively well hidden. And then my beast pack scouted up on the right hand side. Um, Went for a charge on some storm boys, and then I managed to get an advance and shoot off with my haywire scourge, looking at one of his trucks, trying to sort of chew that out, slow it down a little bit, expose some boys, so the plane can come in and mop some stuff up a little bit later on. Um, I didn't manage to kill the truck. I did score my points, and I didn't kill the Storm Boys. I got heroic intervened by Breaker Boys. They didn't kill the Beast Pack, but I didn't kill either unit then, which was I split my attacks, and I probably shouldn't have done. I should have just tried to kill one unit and keep the other unit tagged in there. So that was interesting. um, then he decided to war turn one. Yes, folks, he warred. Um, Unfortunately, the secondaries are dictated, and the game plan trying to remove some units. Um, I sort of just given him enough to get some nice bounce points to come through with the war, which is exactly what he did. So he sort of phantom charge a load of things. He got containment. He whipped around, got his secondaries on the go. I got Aeldari Oliver, which was wonderful because there I was sat in the middle with my Warlord Court. So he does blow up my raider with a court in. They hop behind the wall as intended, and then he brings his Gretching unit round. Um, so he charges that into my Void Weaver Scourge, tags a load of that up, then tags my Mandrakes up. He makes two charges, one with Gaz, one with some Beast Snagger boys. Sort of just off the left hand building, into the court, my warlord court, and then he whips his little uppy downy character in the movement phase over to my side to get containment, and then charges my scourge behind the wall, with some tank busters, um, which is more than enough to kill scourge. Right, there's enough attacks there, high enough strength that scourge will still die. Um, so he's looking at picking up a mighty large chunk of my army right now. That's super scary. So obviously, fight first in the middle, and kill off the Beast Snagger boys, and then he wipes off everything else he's in combat with, tags up a load of other stuff, and I'm looking in a really, really bleak position at this point. Um, I whip my one unit of Mandrakes up, and I have to bring my 15 court in, and I've got to try and bring everything to clear off Gaz and the Mega Knobs and Drukhari sat in the middle there. Um, I bring my plane in to try and deal with some of the Gretchen on the left hand side, try and reduce that unit down a bit, um, and have sort of less stuff coming at me, um, and hope that I can hang on long enough. My grotesques come out as well and try and clear off those tank busters just on my right hand side. I'm just hoping I can clear it all, hang on long enough, and find a way back into this game, because right now I'm looking like a 20-0. I'm not going to make it out of my deployment zone or score anything from here on out. So I do manage to shoot and kill Gaz's unit with the charge. I managed to kill tank busters on the right, again with the grotesque charge. And I do whittle down, I think I just take half of the grots, on the left hand side, which is insane, really. With the plane should do more than that. Um, so it was fun. Unfortunately, Alex has got so many more units to respond with. He's still got two units of looters, another unit of tank busters, and breaker boy. Like, it's insane how much stuff he still has left, and another unit of storm boys that need to come in as well. So these Gretchens start to make their way down towards my deployment zone now. Um, and it's just a mopping up game at this point for Alex. I'm hanging on, scraping for every point, try and reduce that differential as much as possible, trying not to get 20 and owed. I do manage to keep it to 18-2. And I guess the takeaway is I shouldn't have fed so much and I shouldn't have spread so thin. If I could have concentrated his units a little bit more by being more concentrated myself, maybe that helps me. I shouldn't. I should have planned for pile-ins, consolidates. I left too many units clumped a little bit too close together that he was very easily just able to tag a lot of things up, with good charges. So I was tabled at the end, all bar one grotesque, which I think he probably gets anyway, which was super easy. Um, Really good game, really strong opponent, but that's a tough matchup, and that's going to need some further exploration because that was hardcore. um, they are pretty cracked right now, and I think it's going to be interesting how they settle. Um, in a couple of weeks, and hopefully people come up with answers to them. But as of now, they're really strong. So that ends my day one. Um, so 2-1 after day one, and I'm not unhappy with that. Alex is a great player. Orcs pretty strong. So we go check into the hotel just across the road from the venue, and we'll go out to get some dinner with the rest of the event by the looks of things. Actually, it's a lovely place called the Botanist. Food was great there, and the vibes were immaculate once more. Um, we went back to bed for about 11:30. Nice gentle evening. I can't say the same for some other people. Sort of I hear talks of half four in the morning roll-ins with two more games to play. So that was I respect them for that. It's not something I could do anymore. He says like I'm older than 30. I like my beauty sheet sleep. I am a homely person. So we move on to round four. Round four is Purge the Foe on Tipping Point with Smoke and Mirrors Mission Rule. I'm playing the lovely Darren. Darren was great. He's playing Dark Angel Stormlands Task Force. So Darren's list was Azrael, Ezekiel, Ravenwing Command Squad, 15 Deathwing Knights, a unit of Intercessors, some Stern Guard, some Blade Guard Vets, some Outriders, and two Ballista Dreads, and two units of Scouts. So it's a Marine matchup, and I feel fairly confident into a Marine matchup. And Persia Foe is super interesting against Deathwing Knights because, in theory, it should be quite hard for us. And we sort of struggle as what's generally tend to be renowned as an MSU army, um, but it doesn't quite play out that way. So um, I have a particularly killy game. Darren doesn't manage to get a kill point until battle round three, where I essentially gift it to him by failing a desperate escape test on a battleshop grotesque. By this point, I've killed 13 out of his 15 Deathwing Knights, killed all his Raven Wing and Outriders. I'm sat on his home objective with my 15 strong court, and I have done some bad things, bad things to these Dark Angels. Uh, it was I scored kill more every turn, which was bizarre, really. It doesn't feel like it should happen into that matchup. But Stormlands is interesting, right? Because they can fall back and charge, advance and shoot. They've got lots of speed, um, but sort of my fights first and my speed, sort of with reactive moves and whatnot, um, really just help keep that matchup down. It was just a case of feeding him units to draw him in, which then he didn't kill. He didn't kill the beast pack with a full unit of Deathwing Knights, which is unheard of. Um, his rolling wasn't the greatest, but I think we taught him a lesson about drukhari today, and how good we are into Space Marines. I did quite a funny anecdote. I ingressed my plane turn two, and then turn three flew it over into its deployment zone, and I one-shotted Azrael and his Stern Guard with the plane only, and that shocked us both, and it was bad. And Scrivo was judging me for it, but it's designed to kill Marines, and it did exactly what it's supposed to do. So that puts me on 3-1. So I'm going into the final game, looking at a 4-1. So the final game, I was playing Chris Langton, and Chris, I was playing on Sweeping Engagement, Terraform, Swift Action, and it was Dark Angels Gladius Task Force. So more Dark Angels, and I went into this feeling relatively confident. It's a different matchup to Stormlands for sure. I think it's got much more toolbox, and the list was different. So this was 3 Ballistas, 1 Vindicator, 1 unit of Scouts, 1 unit of Infiltrators, 2 Jump Back Intercessors, 15 Deathwing Knights, 1 ICC, and Azrael to go with that ICC. So it's a very stodgy list, very stodgy list. I went first on this, and my cards dictated I had to kill stuff. Now, Chris, being a good player, wasn't going to allow me to kill stuff too easily. So on my left hand side, on my natural expansion, I scouted my raider up to sticky that objective. I then pushed my court on to get the blisters and the JPI that were waiting just off his deployment zone. I took the ballistas down to one wound and didn't kill a single JPI. I was very sad. My Void Weaver pushed up on the right hand side to kill that unit of scouts that were just hiding behind his natural expansion objective. Not quite on it, but just behind it. I killed that down to a one model, so didn't score no prisoners. Used most, if I think I used all of my pain tokens pretty much. So my pain token economy was already down. I'm already on the back foot. I then lose my Court of the Archons super early, um, and the story rolls on from there. This was a game of many. I'm not killing anything for some reason. I'm just leaving things on one wound, or Chris is just spiking saves, or I've just rolled under average, and it just hurts that pain token economy so much. Um, which is a shame because it really affects how we play. If we can't keep rolling with those pain tokens, we can't shift things, we can't keep scoring. Um, Thankfully, I had Mandrakes alive, so I was able to whiz around, keep scoring. And when I kept it to a 15-5, it definitely felt like it could be a 20-0 blowout again. Um, and it was an unfortunate end to the day. A really enjoyable game, and Chris, fantastic player. He did outplay me on that. So yeah, hats off to you, Chris. But the 4-1 dream was dead. I wasn't unhappy though. I lost to two great players, and I'd had an absolutely amazing event. Um, so yeah, that's how we ended. So I ended up finishing in 19th place on a 3-2. And then my teammates, as you can see, so we had Ashfarn on Index Demons. He was also on a 3-2. We had Matt on Zinch Demons. Demons good. Demons good. Who knows? On 2-2-1. So 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. And then we had Josh, who was on a 2-1-2. So 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Um, so yeah, I think he did get Orks twice. It was pretty rough for him. Orks and then anti-tank had mech with his guard, and poor chap. So he had a tough time. But this event was great. I won't spoil who won it. It'll be out there. Um, but what a fantastic event! The prize support was amazing. The team were fantastic, and all was good. So now you're still wondering, Ben, where's this crown come from? Obviously, you've not won the tournament or placed. Where's it come from? Why do we have a tiara on your head? Maybe it's because I like wearing it. Or maybe it's because Ben here won best overall. Um, so, best overall was a combination of um, painting scoring, um, your sportsmanship at the table, and it's sort of how you played and placed in the tournament. Apparently, I ranked number one to get that best overall. Oh, sorry. Don't know what that was doing there. Technology. Yeah, there we go. I got my best overall, which is pretty cool. I'm really chuffed about that. That's sort of been one of my aims for a while to get sort of a best overall. Good painting scores, good sporting scores, and good playing scores. And we finally managed to nail that down. Um, and I got a crown for it. Crown and £100 of vouchers to for Prestige Wargaming, which I've very quickly spent on some Emperor's Children chaosy goodness. It's mainly rhinos. Okay, let's not get excited. They're rhinos. Every chaos player needs rhinos, and I'm a chaos player now. Apparently, uh, I'm sticking with drukhari. This is just a project. So it's really good. Great price support. Fantastic, and the crown's a nice touch. I'm quite happy to wear this. So that's cool. So after the event, what do I want to change about the list, or what do I think did or didn't work? I think what didn't work was my misunderstanding of the terrain, not having enough experience on that. um, and perhaps not quite understanding what the armies want to do. So looking at orcs, um, I had no idea. Right, it's fresh. I don't know. I still not quite sure how the matchup goes. So I think there's going to take a few more discussions and a few more tries at trying to suss that one out. So we'll see how we get on with that. Um, but in terms of the Dark Angel matchup, I think on another day I can beat that. If I go second, I can definitely beat that. I think I just need to play that slightly less aggressively. I think I can almost forego trying to go for that no prisoners turn one. Have some units alive, wait for him to come out, and go for it from there. So I'm not necessarily looking at changing the list. I think the only other thing I maybe change, drop Conductor of Torment, that leaves me 30 points spare, and maybe swap those racks to a unit of 10 witches to just sit on my home field. Um, and Void Weavers are staying, boys. They're staying. So something like that. I think. I don't know when my next event is. So something might come to fruition before then. The Void Weavers might come out. They're not going to come. But yeah, that was a great event. So that's sort of my closing thoughts on that. And I guess that's it, guys. So thanks again for tuning in. Me and my crown are off to bed. I need it. I'm tired. I'm almost delirious at this point. 5 rounds of Warhammer, having a great old time, laughing a lot. Tuckers you out, boys. Tuckers you out. But thanks again to the 6 Plus Plus team because just what a fantastic event. What a fantastic crown you have placed upon my noggin, even after all of the abuse I received from the team. Naughty boys. Anyway, I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Maybe even consider becoming a member if you want to see more of us wearing crowns. But if not, we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.